Okay guys, let's do a geometry review. We're going to start with our lines, segments, and rays. And what this is asking us to name the following figures. So for number 1, we know that's a ray because it has an endpoint and then continues on in a line. So to name this figure, we would write A, B, with the ray symbol over the top. For number 2, this is a line segment. We would call it line segment DE. Again, we write those letters and we do our line segment symbol over the top of the letters DE. For number 3, this is a line FG. And again, we just do our symbol over the top, the line symbol over the top. 4, 5, and 6, we're looking at parallel, perpendicular, and intersecting lines. Okay, when two lines, rays, or line segments cross, those would be considered intersecting lines. So to name these for number 4, we take a look at our one of the rays here, which we would call this MN. You have to say the M first because that's where the endpoint is. You couldn't call this ray NM. Okay, it has to be MN. Okay, and then we're going to do our ray over the top. Okay, now ray MN is intersecting line QS. So we're going to draw our intersecting symbol, which is just a little X. Okay, QS with our line over the top. Okay, for number 5, we have parallel lines because they are never going to meet. Okay, so we have line segment AB is parallel, we just do a little parallel symbol like this, to line CD, and you can also write DC, it does not matter. For number 6, these lines, yes, they're intersecting because they're crossing, but they're also perpendicular because they're crossing at a 90-degree angle. We've got a little box right here that is our indicator of that. So for these, we have, let's see, ray H, ray HI, and when they're perpendicular, we're just going to draw a perpendicular mark, and I always like to do my little box there so we realize that's a perpendicular sign to line segment JK. Okay, so that is how we name lines, segments, rays, intersecting lines, parallel lines, and perpendicular lines. Let's take a look now at quadrilaterals. Okay, so this is asking us to draw a parallelogram and name 2 of its attributes. Okay, we know a parallelogram looks like this. Sort of a slanted rectangle. I know that's not the best there. But it is a slanted rectangle. Okay, it has 2 pairs of parallel lines, so that would be considered one of its attributes. Okay, and then it also has the opposite sides are equal in length. Okay, we can also say the opposite sides are parallel, so that could be another attribute. Okay, and always remember we know how to spell parallel because it's got 2 parallel lines right there in the middle with the L's are like parallel lines. Okay, trapezoid. The example of a trapezoid would be this. Okay, a trapezoid has only 1 pair of parallel sides. Okay, it also would be considered, and all of these really are, but it also would be considered a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. Alright, a rhombus basically looks like a square that has been sat on, or sometimes they kind of look like, and I'm not the best drawer, sorry about this, kind of look like a diamond. Okay, but in math, remember, we don't call them diamonds, we call them a rhombus. Okay, so it has opposite sides are equal in length, like a square. Okay, opposite sides are also parallel. Okay, so we can do, sometimes when we show that our lines are equal or congruent, you'll see them have a little line through them like this. Well, since all 4 are congruent or equal, we can put 4 equal lines like that. Okay, a rectangle, we should all be very familiar with. Okay, so a rectangle has opposite sides that are equal in length and also parallel. Opposite sides are equal in length and parallel. Okay? Number 5 says explain why a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. Okay? A square is a rectangle because it has all the same attributes of a rectangle. It has the opposite sides are equal in length, right? Okay? Opposite sides are also parallel. And with our rectangle too, which I forgot to mention, it has 4 90-degree angles. And so does a square. Okay? So we can write this down too. 4 90-degree angles. But if you remember our flow chart, our square was at the very bottom because everything above on a flow chart, the square would kind of fall into that category, meaning it would have all those same attributes. So it has the same attributes of a rectangle, but the reason why a rectangle is not a square is because a rectangle does not have 4 equal sides. So that's the difference between the two. Okay?